Hello, everybody. This is Milesluigi with
The Evilpoptart.
And Higsby.
for another roundtable, because this roundtable actually is very related to our very first roundtable on E3, where Microsoft got their butts walloped to them by Sony. And lo and behold, the news yesterday. Basically, Microsoft completely reversed their DRM policy on the Xbox One, which was a complete surprise to me in 100% honesty. But this was a topic Evilpoptart wanted to talk about, so I actually wanted to give the floor to him.
Thank you.
Here you go, Evilpoptart.
And considering they did a complete 180, so what is it known now as? The Xbox 180. LOLs. I'm not surprised by this at all. This was coming. So soon? Yeah, I didn't see it coming this soon. But I would at least say after, the sales came out, they would have been, oh crap, we didn't get enough sales. But,
I'm in the same boat, actually. Microsoft's one of those companies that really does hold on to things until the bitter end before they change them.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they went back on anything. If only they would do this to Windows 8 now.
Well, that's probably not going to happen. But I'm surprised with all the negative PR and everything that just their E3, just a disaster train wreck. This was a train wreck just waiting to run into a freaking water tower and explode. I mean, it had to come to a boiling point. And I think after Amazon, what the killing deal was, after Amazon had canceled their poll early, need I remind you, canceling it early, they had the PS4 leading 34,000 units pre-ordered versus the Xbone's like 3,000. That's just ridiculous. I think they looked at the numbers. I think they looked at the GameStop numbers, they looked at Amazon, they looked at all the retailers, and they were going to just take such a huge hit in the balls that I think they just had to suck it up. But however, if you actually go out and read their quote-unquote official statement, they're blaming us. It is written in a way that they are completely blaming us for this. They're basically being whiny little bitchy children and having a shit fit and just throwing a temper tantrum and blaming us for it. Go ahead and read it. I don't have a link, but I'm sure we'll find a link somewhere in the comment section, or Miles will post something on the bump below.
Sounds like something I'd put it in the video description, but to go on that exact point, they, for example, said, without this, you won't be able to, share your games online with your friends and family.
Yeah, basically, they're throwing the features at, we were Microsoft, we were innovating, and you guys didn't want this. Fine, we will give you what you want. Hump, 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 stomp my feet, wham, 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 cry, cry, cry. Here, now, this, take it and sleep with it. So, it sounds like they're taking the approach that they're not even going to implement any of this. They're going to be exactly what the consumer wants. They're going to throw a shit fit, and then that's it. And then they're just going to throw their hands up. Basically, yes, we won. Okay? And you guys did vote with your wallets, and that's good. That is good. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I really can't praise them for this, because they started this. They could have avoided this whole goddamn mess if they would have just sat down, used there's something in their skull called their brain, because obviously somebody wasn't using their brain, and then convinced other people that they didn't have a brain, thus turning everybody at Microsoft into zombies. But that's irrelevant at this point. Why didn't they have an intermediate goal here? I mean, they knew first of all, they were so ignorant to expect that this backlash wouldn't be this great. Well, they're wrong. So they should have seen that right away, and they should have did an immediate correction. But no, instead they're Microsoft. They're going to be all fucking huffy puffy. We're Microsoft. Yeah, look at us. Well, that's typical Microsoft. That's always been Microsoft. That always will be Microsoft. So it's just to the point where, they're all pouting and bitty-lipped about it. But they're going to make us suffer for this now. So everybody that said, hey, we won, I was reading comments today. We've got people saying, oh my god, why are you guys bitching so loudly? All you gamers are just a minority. All the adults wanted the cool features and blah, blah, blah. Now we'll never see that. Okay, granted, some people are kind of upset that they're still doing the used games thing. GameStop's still going to be king of the shit. You're still going to be paying some greedy corporate executive from GameStop when you trade in your games, and you're going to get a lousy trade-in value. Okay, I see that. Fine. They needed to take the Steam approach. However, they needed to implement it 150 billion% differently, because If you remember, when Steam came out, everybody was a little hesitant about that. But Steam gently eased everybody into it. This, rape with no lube strategy doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And that's what they were doing. And that's what everybody was upset about. It was just you were getting raped with no lube. There was nothing for the consumer. If they had some give and take with it, I think it would have went differently. But since everything was take, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to get pissed off. So on one point, I am sad that we won't be seeing a used game copies prices go down like a Steam-based architecture or a Steam-based program. From the sounds of it, I think they're just throwing their hands up and just saying, here, you guys won. However, if you do read Microsoft's EULA, I cannot trust them worth a damn right now. They have shown their true hand that this is what they want, this is our policies, this is what they're going to do. In their EULA, it says we reserve the right to change this at any time, at whatever time we see so fit. And in my mind, I extremely expect this after launch, maybe a year after launch. I don't know. They might do it, they might not.
That's a really good point. It's actually two really good points. First off, most EULAs actually say this EULA is subject to change just so the company can change it whenever they need to. Mm-hmm. But that's actually the idea that, the console will be released, everyone all happy-dory, hunky-dory, trade your games. Here's how you trade your games on Xbox One. Thanks.
Yeah.
Literally hand your game to your friend, but there's no saying, like, year or two down the console's life cycle, they will do essentially another 180 and bring it back to where it was before this announcement.
And you see, and I completely expect this. At some point, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not a freaking fortune teller. I don't have a crystal ball. But look at this from a business perspective. Microsoft has put all this money into this architecture just for the system, and that's what they were touting for its features. I extremely highly doubt they are going to abandon that at all. The box is capable of it. We've seen it. You plug it into the internet. Day one, it's got a patch to turn all this shit off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I'm agreeing with and everybody is forgetting about, well, some people don't, but I watched The Angry Joe. I do. I watch him. He's got a good opinion. He did some awesome stuff. Now, if you haven't seen it, go check out his channel. Yes, I'm promoting his channel right now, just only because of this. He's got a video up there. He cornered Major Nelson at E3 from, he was doing, interviews, and he actually snuck onto the set. And he got an interview with Major Nelson. In that interview, he tries to do a shotgun full of questions. And he kept his cool. He wasn't a total dick. Which is good, because you got to treat these guys with respect when you interview them. Otherwise, they just won't give you an interview. And then we don't get the information. And that's just journalism. In that interview, he did a shotgun question, saying, hey, can you guys remove all this software if you guys wanted to? And Major Nelson said, are you a developer, Major Doe? Do you do that? Do you do any of that? And he specifically said in that interview is that it's highly, I forgot what his exact quotes, but I'm paraphrasing here, is that he said that no, it is not removable and it's permanent. Let that sink in for a minute. Day one patch removes all this shit. He says, no, it's staying here. You can't remove it. It's built into it. I call it bullshit. Bullshit. I don't let Microsoft shovel this shit, because that's what it is. Excuse my language. It's shit. They are throwing muddy shit in your face to try to do whatever they can to boost sales. They're Microsoft. They're like any other greedy corporation on this godforsaken planet. They want your money. It's not going to work. I mean, and even then, Forza 5. It's going to connect to the internet whether you like it or not, whether you have it or not. It's going to do that stupid cloud AI stuff. Most of these games are going to have it in the background regardless. They can't turn that off. That's the developers doing that. And again, they're taking, if the developers want it, then it'll be in there. We have no say or control over that. So it's going to be in it either way. And the same thing with Sony. The developers are going to maybe put it in, maybe not. But again, this is all putting it back on the developers, and we just stay in the big old same circle jerk that we were in last generation. It's just got better graphics.
Oh, yeah, but you did bring up a good point about online connectivity in the games. Another part of the announcement is that they announced the console won't have to be on at least once every 24 hours, or else the console flat out shuts down.
Yes, they removed the 24-hour online check. Correct.
So hopefully that's not something they revert on, because that would stink. Although it's kind of funny. You get the console day one, you get the patch that disables 24-hour checks. Never update the console, you never have to bring it online.
Well, here's the thing, though. As soon as you buy it day one, what if you don't update it to the internet? That's a very wild accusation. Everybody will eventually. It'll force it. I mean, at some point when you do have an internet connection, it will force that download, unless you specifically tell it not to. But then, I mean, you've got the original box and everything. So, I mean, still, day one, it's got a day one patch, and day one patches just start. Look at the Wii U the Wii U. They had a day one patch, and it downloaded like 2 gig. Everybody was pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the point is, the fact that they can remove this in a patch proves that they had the power of the on and off switch this whole time. And again, come back in full circle, they were bullshitting you about that. How can you support a company that blatantly lies in your face, and then they shovel this shit at you, even though it's what you want? True, yes, I'm very excited for that. Good. That's a winning side for us. We showed them that, hey, assholes, we can do this. But at some point, that's ruined the reputation. You have to look at their credibility now. They showed their hand. They showed their true face. They showed their true color. This is what they're going to do. Do you really want to support a company that still does that? And a desperate move, which is obviously quite desperate, to try to win the public over now? I leave this with you guys, and you guys can elaborate on this. I'm going to still hold my stance as you guys need to wait. Anybody out there listening to this right now, whether you like me or not, or whether you like listening to me rant, here's the fact. Wait for both the Xbox One and the PS4. Wait at least a year. You have to sit here and let them work all the bugs out. You have to sit here and look at how this all is going to unfold. This is all speculation at this point. Don't waste your money right now. Wait. What is it to you that's going to wait? Okay, so you're not going to get it day one. You won't be able to play with your friends day one. Whoop-de-doo. They might have problems down the road. They might have board issues. It's unforeseen. I don't have a crystal ball, but it is a smart move to at least wait. I mean, vote with your wallet, yes. The Xbox One is still $100 more. You still got to deal with the Kinect. Okay, that's not too bad. But $100 more versus the PS4, people are going to go with the cheaper version come Christmas. That's just going to happen.
I actually wanted to ask you, Evilpoptart, what do you think about possibly PlayStation 4 also nearly in the future? Let's say Microsoft pulls its 180. Do you think possibly Sony could also do a 180 in the future?
That's a very good possibility. Sony's been tight-lipped about this for a reason. I mean, they've had every right to. Microsoft has dug their own grave twice over. So why do they need to announce this like this? Yes, Sony's not the greatest either. I play devil's advocate here. Sony just bricked their PS3s here last week.
That's
with
true.
With the 4.45 update here. So not everything is all sunshine and roses over at Sony. Now, I've been lucky I didn't upgrade it. I haven't touched my PS3. So, I mean, I'm waiting for them to fix it. But regardless, both sides have issues. Now, this just happens to be a very inconvenient fluke. I mean, either that or somebody got fired without properly testing it before releasing this. But it seems to be speculated that the PS3 failures right now are because of people that have replaced the original hard drive. As soon as they put the original hard drive back in, it works fine. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I've been reading. That's what seems to be the cause of it. Can be a couple of things. But, I mean, everybody's so quickly to forget about what, Sony got hacked, too. Sony was down for 2 weeks. I think. Longer than 2 weeks. 2 weeks or something like that.
It was about a month, I think.
It was a month. Okay. So the PS3 network was dead. I mean, you didn't have a PSN network. It was just poof, gone. Bye. Adios. Didn't have it for a month because of the hack. So I mean, wait. Just wait. I mean, what is it to you if you wait? You got to see how this all plays out. I mean, whether you can't afford it, whether you're not sure about it now, wait. And then you can buy whatever you want when you're done.
Next thing I wanted to bring up with regards to this topic is kind of the real core of this entire DRM issue, which has to do basically entirely with digital distribution and how, like, for example, Steam is an almost entirely digitally distribution network where, it's like you buy the game and now you download it and woohoo! Now you can play it digitally. You didn't have to buy a box. So the last game I bought for Steam and didn't actually download digitally was Team Fortress 2, but it was literally put in the disc. Now it's going to download and install digitally. That was kind of funny. That was back in the days before TF2 was free to play.
Oh yeah, so. I bought the orange box back in the day too. It's probably one of the only games I've actually bought and installed on Steam rather than just download it.
But I personally wanted to make a note to basically Microsoft, Sony, and even Nintendo about exactly what I feel comfortable with regards to DRM and digital distribution, because I'm not necessarily against the idea of DRM entirely, because in some way you got to protect your games against pirates. That I completely acknowledge. I mean, you're not going to ever stop piracy, but you have to put some form of protection there. I completely understand that from the point of view of a developer. I wanted to specifically share my example of why I'll buy games on Steam, but why I won't really buy anything for my 3DS. And it fundamentally comes down to the fact, if my computer borks, I can get a new one and install Steam, connect to my account, I'm good to go. In the case of my 3DS, I don't have anything downloaded on it except some Fire Emblem Awakening DLC. And the main reason why? I don't feel fully comfortable that if my 3DS got borked, I could get that all back on a new 3DS. I do know they have a transfer system, but I'm just not comfortable with it,
Mm-hmm.
And until I actually really become comfortable with it, I'm not going to buy any virtual stuff or anything like that on the 3DS. And the same is actually true with the Wii U, to tell you the truth. I'm just not comfortable with it, and until I am, I'm not going to buy anything because, what if my Wii U gets borked and now all of a sudden all my stuff goes bye-bye,
Very good point. And see, here's the fact that it boils down to as well, too, is that some people like physical media, other people prefer digital downloads. I mean, it is fact. I mean, I think everybody's kind of blowing the whole thing out of proportion a little bit. I mean, yes, Steam has been doing it for a while, but look how long they've been doing it. They have sales, man. They have all these awesome sales that, have all of it. You can go anywhere you want and just log into Steam and you'll have your games. Granted, you have to download them all again, but if you're somebody like me that has them all backed up, I just copy the game file off one of my hard drives. Copy the stuff off, and then you're good to go. I mean, and the Steam network's been up for a while, and you can download your games, well, depending on how big they are, unless you're like downloading Skyrim, then you're kind of boned. But but they do optimize for that, and I think it comes down to is some people like their physical media, other people like their discs, or their physical media and online copies. But see, the problem everybody keeps coming back to is Steam says, oh, well, you can't trade your games on Steam, and we could have traded our games on the Xbox One. You don't know that. Sure, they could have implemented that somehow, and then that would have lowered prices and everything, but that is totally unpredictable right now. Because then you got to contact the developers. Who has control of that? Does Microsoft have control of the price drops? Who ultimately has control over that? Too many variables to the equation. It's just, even there's rumor right now, I mean, speculation, quote-unquote rumor, is that Steam might be looking at trading games on Steam. You might be able to trade your games. Not sure about that. Still a rumor. They're working on it. I don't know. They're being tight-lipped about it. But, I mean, that is kind of the direction where everybody's moving. Everybody's wanting to do that. But there is no really good solution to trade your games with digital media. Because how does the licensing work? How does the pricing work? How does everything work in the background? Somebody has to figure that out first and come up with a good way to do it. So far, nobody has.
All right. I'm super happy that we were able to get all that out of you, Evilpoptart, because it sounded like you had a lot to say. In the interest of making this like a super roundtable, I wanted to ask you, Higsby, if you had something you wanted to add to any of Evilpoptart's points, or a point maybe you completely forgot, if you happen to have anything.
The thing that I think about all of this is, just leave the DRM and all that crazy online feature and stuff to Steam. I don't understand why the Xbox One needs all of that. I mean, people are like, oh, it could have been, cool the way that Steam is, but just, why not just leave that to Steam and make the other things just, be like consoles like they've always been? I don't understand what the point of just turning Xbox One into PC number 2 in your house, like what the point of that is. So I never really saw the point of all this stuff and all the features that people are saying, oh, the Xbox One could have had that. I mean, Steam already has something like that, so I mean, most of the games you want to play are probably going to be on Steam anyway. Just play them on Steam then if you want all that stuff. So I don't really understand some of it. I think that consoles should be consoles and PC should be PC. I kind of like the difference there. I think people should play a bit of PC games and play a bit of console games. Like, I don't really see why the Xbox One needed so many of these features that I don't think really belong on a console. But I guess people just think that's the future of games, even though I'm not really a huge fan of that. But yeah.
Fair enough.
As before, it'll be interesting to see in the future exactly if the Xbone 180, just because we like calling it that, will do another 180 and become full 360 Xbone 360. Wow.
At this point, it could happen. It could be anything.
All right, see if Sony eventually follows suit. I mean, maybe we're all being a little cynical here, but the idea that we all think in the future, maybe next console generation, or heck, during this current console generation, we're all going to really move strongly towards digital distribution only.
It's coming. It's inevitable. You are going to have that. I mean, it's not this generation, but maybe the next one. I mean, that's where everybody's trying to move to. And eventually, we're just going to have to accept that. But at this point, we're not ready for it.
All right. So last thing I wanted to bring up, you did kind of touch on this, Evilpoptart, but the fact that the Kinect is still part of the console. I can't help but think that there are going to be guidelines and instructions online how to disassemble the Xbox One and how to unplug it and how this voids your warranty, but I'm already seeing those articles coming up online.
I'm not sure what they're going to do for that. I mean, basically from what I read today, the majority of the people said if they can get rid of the Kinect and they drop the price by $100, they'll buy it. I mean, the Kinect is still a deal breaker for some of these people. I've read multiple comments on multiple web pages over the internet today and yesterday. People just don't really want this Kinect. I mean, sure, people say, oh, the Kinect won't do any data spamming for you. Take your tinfoil hat off. It's not the point. That's not the point, whether they have tinfoil hats or they're paranoid or you just think that's just silly. With everything in the news now, it could be a real possibility, and especially with what all the Kinect does, a valid concern in my mind. If anybody else wants to refute that point, I respect that. But in my mind, I don't want this Kinect plugged into me. I got people at work with all-in-one HP computers with a camera built into it. People put tape over it because they think we're watching them while I'm at work. And granted, we're not. It's not even enabled. The fact is that they just feel secure and better that it's not doing any of that. Or that I don't want that. Why do I want that? What am I going to use it for? If the Kinect is only going to be used for one game or a couple niche games, and just so I can swipe through the Xbox menu for it, it's completely useless. I could do that on a controller. Why the hell do I need a hand motion thing to swipe my hand at a screen and look like a complete idiot doing it? I don't want it. That was made clear. So I think somewhere down the road, Microsoft is going to past launch anyway, because they don't want to bork up their production line right now. That's why they have the day one patch. Somewhere down the line, year after year and a half, 2 years, I think they're going to find a way to get rid of the Kinect connection, and then it'll just be the Xbox One. But that's at least my prediction.
That's an interesting prediction. Before I say let's do our conclusions, I want to know if there's any other topic relating to this that anyone wanted to talk about. I said my piece, so...
I think it's pretty much all been touched on.
Yeah, I mean, basically, my kind of small overview points was people were complaining about, oh, we're not going to see these features anymore. Those features were never there. Debatable. All they removing these policies, sure, it's a nice win for gamers, but Microsoft has shown their true colors. Why do you want to support this? The price point is still a deal breaker with the Kinect. You're still paying $500, which is quite a bit of money, and you're still getting a Kinect, and you still got to deal with all the Microsoft games that haven't been released or have been showed that is still wanting this persistent online world even when you're not there. It still requires an internet connection. Some of these games are still going to do it because that was their original touting point. So they're just going to sneak it in and hope you're not going to notice. It's going to suffer. While the PS4 still has most of its cards on the table here too, but who knows even if Sony's going to follow that suit. They might even start refuting some of this. At this point, I don't think so. I think Sony's marketing team has a little different idea, but all of these still are valid points.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much, everyone. I do have to give a little extra thanks for you, Evilpoptart, for basically, honest to God, you really summed up all the points really well in an eloquent way.
Just for my conclusion, guys, just let me. I'm going to stay neutral on this. I'm not going to flip flop on this. I'm going to tell you guys what I think, and here's what personally I'm going to do. I'm going to wait. Anybody that's unsure of this, especially now with the DRM stuff, you guys would be doing yourself a great service if you just wait. Now, it is very exciting. You guys don't have to wait. You guys don't have to listen to me. You guys can do what you want. But still, in the end, vote with your wallet. If you don't like what Xbox is doing, don't buy their crap. I certainly will not be buying this with all these restrictions. They screwed everybody over. They were trying to screw you over. So why do you want to throw money at them after they just tried to screw you over? It just doesn't make much sense for me.
All right.
Don't cancel your pre-orders if you've already done it too. I mean, don't flip-flop. Just stick with one console and that's it. If you've already ordered a PS4, good. Stick with it.
All right. And I believe that concludes this roundtable. Anytime any interesting gaming news or news in our lives or something like that comes up, hopefully we could start a roundtable and see what exactly happens. But I really enjoy doing this, actually. I think we're going to keep doing this.
And don't be afraid to post your opinions, guys, down below. I'm open to opinions. I'm not, even though if you don't agree with some of my points, tell me that. I will read the comments. I will talk to you about it. And I'm not going to be a fanboy about any of this. I take a neutral stance on most things, especially this topic. So, I mean, go ahead. I want to see what you guys think. What do you guys really think about this? And what direction are you guys leaning in? Are you going to buy a PS4? Did this change your mind? Give me your opinion. I want to hear your opinion.
All right. Well, to conclude, this has been Milesluigi.
And this has been the Evilpoptart.
And Higsby?
Everybody, have a great day.